what you do not want to have to do because the team is depending so much on you. So, you know, that tension alone, depending on how you've been going the last number of days as well, as you mentioned, Carlton, crashes, it can always affect you. If you're a little bit off your best, well, then it's going to make it more difficult again. And, you know, team time trialing, it's all about just suffering. You have to be able to suffer majorly, and we can see here Michelton-Scott, you know, getting out of town. The first couple of 100 metres, maybe, you know, 0.5 a kilometre to a kilometre, you do not go full on. You just allow everybody to get into the rhythm of things, get, you know, on the wheels that they're supposed to be on, and just, you know, take the speed up from there on.
Gores, bandages, you're seeing it all here. 2 crashes for this team. Darren Empey hitting the barriers late on yesterday. Durbridge as well. Luke Durbridge got himself into a crash, sort of dived into a ditch to get clear of a very fast approaching peloton as it was teed up for a sprint yesterday, taken of course by Peter Sagan out of a reduced group of about 11-15 riders maximum who'd managed to get by the crash, and of course it took out the yellow jersey, remounted of course, but I'm afraid passed over to the shoulders of Peter Sagan. He absolutely delighted, along with many fans of course. The great man himself riding off last today as the holder currently of that yellow jersey. Gaviria will be back. There will be some chops and changes. Likewise with the terrain, it really does pitch and toss, as most of the terrain has indeed done for the opening 2 stages. And right now they're on a testy little incline. It's not that little either, and indeed certainly not in terms of its gradient. It goes on for about 1 kilometre, 5%. So this is a rude awakening, Sean, and a reflection of what they've got to deal with throughout this run.
Yes, well, coming so early in this stage, that is the problem. You know, you're just getting to be into the rhythm, getting warmed up, and you need any little bit of an uphill at all. And we could see there for Michelton-Scott, you know, some riders just a little bit in the bay, just a little struggling there to, you know, keep in the wheel. We can see he's missing a turn there. So it's all about, you know, starting right. And the thing is, you do not want, you know, some of the strong riders to go that little bit too hard in the earlier part, as it is right through the stage. You can ride for longer, but you do not change the pace you're going. You can keep the same pace, and if you do up it, well, then you up it very, very slowly, and that's something, you know, you have to know how to do that. You have to have the guys with the experience. If you're somebody who really accelerates suddenly, well, then the last 2 or 3 riders on the end of the train of that team, they can struggle majorly.
Team Sky coming to the ramp right now, and this is a nightmare for them. They've had a bumpy old start. Chris Froome is carrying some bruises and a little bit of gauze to his elbow as well. A lot of attention here. I'm just seeing what sort of a welcome they're getting here in Cholet. I think France is gradually coming to terms with the idea that Team Sky are indeed here, and indeed that Chris Froome is likely to be a major player within this year's Tour, as you'd expect. Defending champions about to get underway. Geraint Thomas could well go into yellow. He avoided so much of the trouble earlier on in this race that bit Chris Froome. It's pushed him 1 minute and 7 down on the leader, Peter Sagan. Bonuses factored in.